So in part two, we're going to look at two modern papers. We've got Milford, £140 cold press. We've got Saunders Waterford, both made by St Cuthbert's Mill, both 100% cotton rag and archival papers. And this one's a slightly off-white, and this one's what they call a high white. So let's just have a look at the two performances together. So we'll start out with, make this less confusing, looking at Saunders Waterford at the top. You can see the way that the pigment ran and bled and was bleeding into the paper in comparison to the Milford. The Milford is much stronger with a more even dispersal, which actually was typical of the Whatman papers of old, which Milford is sort of based on the recipe. So here's the Whatman, so we could compare that as well. Just bring that in just to get an idea. So you can see similar, not the same. This is actually more vibrant on the old Whatman paper, but here on the Milford, still the dispersal is kind of quite even. The other thing I noticed is that the gradation, the granulating, is stronger on the Milford, so the granulating properties are stronger. But I'm going to put the Whatman to one side. Already looked at that, and we're now going to look at the Saunders Waterford next to the Milford. So we can see quite clearly that the burnt sienna spread, where here it ran down slightly. Both were inclined on the same angle, so no difference there. Let's go on and look at some more. So we have cad yellow, you can see here, has definitely stronger on the Milford. So let's have a look at some of these blues then. You can see the cerulean and the comparisons there, more granulation on the Milford. Cobalt, same picture, more granulation. Ultramarine, you got it, more granulation on the Milford. So the Milford is outperforming the Saunders in terms of granulation. And the pigment seems to be more evenly dispersed. What I did notice was that the Milford took ages to dry, so the pigment was kind of laying on the sizing for quite a long time, whereas the Saunders dried off much quicker. One of the biggest noticeable differences is here in the two blues, in the Prussian blue, here on the Saunders and here on the Milford. Again, yellow ochre, so they're just more powerful. They seem to have spread better. Even if we can look on the golden green apatite, genuine from, that's actually quite similar, isn't it, the way that's dispersed? I know it's a different shape, but it's dispersed in a similar way. So granulating pigments seem to perform better on the Milford. These have more translucent, I would say, washes on the Saunders Waterford. To summarise then, we've been looking at the Saunders Waterford rough paper and the Milford paper, and it's pretty obvious that the Milford paper performs better in terms of the saturation of pigment. We can see clearly that, and also performs better in terms of granulation. There's more of an even dispersal from the Milford. Whereas the Saunders Waterford, yes, we've got transparency, but what we haven't got is the same depth of granulation in there. Anyway, thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe, to like, to comment, and happy painting.